All right, man. Let's talk about the kicker. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about special teams. Let's. This is the one video. This is one video. Unless the kicker goes bad, unless the punting goes bad. Well, I'm not talking about bad punting. I'm not talking about bad punting. But unless the special teams is a disaster this year, this gonna be the one video addressing it. Now, I feel the need to do this every time I make a video about this subject. First, feel the need to let you know you need to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos. Make sure you do that. Also, shout out to the Patreon people. Hopefully that's scrolling right down there. But I feel the need to say this every time I talk about the special teams unit, because people hear that I get irritated when people talk to me about punters and kickers. And it's not because I don't think they're important. I just think people overrate their value at times. I think people get over enthusiastic about punters and kickers. And the people who do can sometimes be those people on Twitter. Who are those people? If you got to ask me who them people are, baby, it's probably you. So I'm just trying to talk about the special teams. I'm not trying to say that they're not important. I understand the value of a good kicker, of a good punter, right? I understand why you would want to have a good one. Please don't misinterpret me as that, or interpret me as saying anything other, even though y'all will do that, because some of y'all just gonna see kicker my reaction at the beginning of this video and be mad for whatever reason. All right, man. So let's talk about special teams. The Browns special teams last year was not good. Now, that being said, the Browns special teams not being good was like the least of the Browns' problems last year, right? That offense being absolutely dookie, absolutely bottom level, mediocre, painful to watch. Like, I was watching Pittsburgh's offense last year, who's not good, and I was like, man, why can't that be us? That's how bad the Browns offense was. That's why the Browns stunk. But the special teams didn't help nothing, right? We had the Scottish Hammer out here just punting whatever into whatever, doing whatever with the ball, fumbling punts. Remember that in Kansas City? He fumbled a punt. No rush, no pressure. There's rules to make sure you can't get hit as a punter, and you fumbled a punt. Fumbling punts in clean weather. It was sunny that day. Fumbled a punt. They scored a touchdown on the side. Probably the reason the Browns lost that game. One of the main reasons the Browns lost that game. And then we go to the kicking. Kicking was a mess, right? We had the two kickers in here. Nobody was a solution. Both of them gone. Okay, so that was a whole mess. And then let's talk about what I feel like is a little bit, well, it is just as kind of impactful as the other two, punt and kick returner, right? Unless you have an excellent punt and kick returner, it doesn't matter, right? It's just somebody to catch the ball and hold on to possession. Like, you're fine with league average, right? And that's the thing with special teams. You don't want to be the bad special teams team, but you just want to be at league average, right? If you're at league average with special teams, you generally don't have anything to worry about. It would be great to be great at special teams, but I ain't making no sacrifices to be great at special teams that would cause any other grouping of my team to be worse, right? Like, if average is what you could be at special teams, that is usually the goal. But when you aren't good there, right? When you have multiple punt return mistakes, multiple kick return mistakes, you're shooting yourself in the foot, you create a mountain of problems that makes it harder for an already struggling team to succeed. Now, there is the antidote that there was the 1 year that the San Diego Chargers, and they were the San Diego Chargers at this point, that the number one offense, number one defense, last special teams ranking in the NFL, and they were kept out the playoffs because of that. Again, you don't want to have the trash special teams unit, but if you can be league average at special teams, you're all right. So that's the question for the Cleveland Browns. Are they putting themselves in a position this season to just be average at special teams. If they're great, woo-hoo, hooray, y'all gonna lose your mind and buy kicker jerseys, because I already know some of y'all get down like that. But if they could just be league average, we're all right? You don't want the special teams to hold the team back, right? That's all, right? Make your extra points, make your 40-yard field goals. If you can make 50% of your 50-plus yard field goals, we're all right. We are all right with that. So let's talk about Cade York. Can Cade York do that? Now, there are some interesting numbers on Cade York, one of them being that he tends to have most of his misses and tighter point margin situations. Now, that could do a lot with them asking him to make more ridiculous field goals in those situations. Also, remember, LSU has been kind of an awful team the last few years, so they're putting him out there more to kick the ball. Do I have confidence in Cade York? Look, there's nothing I'm going to watch him do in college that's going to make me have confidence in him in the NFL, simply because the pressure that a kicker has in college, especially an accomplished kicker has in college, has nothing, absolutely zero, on the pressure that an NFL kicker has. Now, some could say that this could be the argument that we need to stop just releasing kickers after they make kicks or miss kicks, right? Because we put too much pressure on them. They don't feel secure, and they just have these like mental breakdowns all the time. But then some people will point to Roberto Aguayo, who had like 2 years of cushion and still stunk. And it's just a different game, man. It's just a different game to me, right? Either you can live up to that pressure or you can't. Because in college, you miss 3 kicks, you'll be all right. Your meal plan's still going to work. Your dorm room's still going to open. You're still going to be on the LSU Tigers for the next 3 years. You don't got that much to worry about because you're bad at kicking in college. And you're going to have an opportunity to come on because, look, somebody else going to miss a kick eventually. It's college, right? In the NFL, it's a little different. You miss 3 kicks in the NFL, it ain't, oh, man, I got to go. I'm going to be benched, but I'm still on the team. It's you might be off the team. You might have to find a new place to live. You might become the most hated man in the entire city. And again, you're a grown adult at this point now. So gloves are off. People will hate you if you miss this kicks. I don't encourage people or condone anybody who goes into players' DMs, even kickers and punters, and decides to cuss them out. That's just weird behavior. Some would say that's maidenless behavior. I would agree. That summation of it. It's just weird behavior. Don't ever feel like you got to DM a player to tell them how mad you are at them. That's just dumb. But that's the pressure a kicker has, man. It's a tremendous amount of pressure. Not everybody can live up to it. And here's the kicker. You see what I did there? The kicker is that you kind of don't know who can live up to that pressure until they end the cooker. Right? We have seen Austin Seibert come in here, play Power 5 football at Oklahoma, all the pressure in the world at Oklahoma, played in the playoff games, came to Cleveland, first kick, too much pressure for him because the offense scored too fast. Dude was never good. Zane Gonzalez was a Biletnikoff winner. Couldn't take the pressure. Missed a bunch of kicks. It took him years to build that up and to become a solid kicker, which he has in Arizona. So the pressure of being a kicker is something that I don't feel comfortable projecting that somebody can handle, and I don't feel comfortable projecting that somebody can continue to withstand. That's why the kicker position is one of the most random positions to evaluate. That's why these kickers that everybody thinks is going to be excellent from technical terms sometimes stink. Because the biggest variable in the world about a kicker isn't, how great their form is or all this other stuff. It's truly about the pressure. And there's no way to anticipate the pressure. There really isn't until you in the cooker. So we just going to have to put Cade York in the cooker and cross our fingers and hope that man come out. I hope so, right? Man was a 4th round pick. I hope he does. This is why I don't think you should draft kickers in the 4th round. Because when it comes down to that, how can you tell me that you're so confident that dude's going to be that you would spend a 4th round pick on it? That's my issue, right? How can you have the confidence that you're right about this kicker when what it takes to be a kicker in the NFL is withstanding that pressure, and there's no way to evaluate that. That's my whole issue with drafting the kicker. But hey, we're gonna put Cade York in that cooker, and we're gonna see if he comes out. If he comes out the other side, great. I'm tired of talking about kicker every year. If he doesn't, just keep it rotating, man. Keep it rotating. We just wasted the fourth. We gotta keep it rotating. Can't sit here and waste time with the man who folds under pressure at the kicker position. Can't do it. Can't live with it. Can't win with it. Shout out Mike Singletary. All right, so enough about Cade York. Let's talk about the punter real quick. He should be all right? He's an 80 on Madden. That's as far as my evaluation of the new punter's name, the new punter has been. He should be all right. If he stinks, he's just going to be cut. We'll replace him with another punter. We'll bring in a Colquitt brother, and we'll just roll on with it. I ain't stressing over a punter. Let's talk about Jakeem Grant now. Jakeem Grant is an interesting thing because he is expected to contribute a little bit on offense, but he's mainly brought in here to stabilize both return positions. He's going to do kick returns and punt returns. And Jakeem Grant is an amazing kick and punt returner. At least he was in his younger years. Now he's getting a little older. He's around, 27 on his third team. And there is concerns about, how well he's going to age as he's late or as he gets older because he is a speed guy, a quick guy. I expect him to be pretty good. Look, he is a special teams vet for life, so he's just going to be so good. He's like Devin Hester at the end of his career. Was not fast, but he was so experienced at kick returning that he could always get 30 yards out of kick return just on vision alone and intelligence alone. Jakeem Grant's not that old yet, but he should be pretty good for this team. I would not be worried about the special teams, right? So when we evaluate this thing, when we look over it, I have an evaluation of, I feel fine about kick returner and punt returner. I feel like they absolutely solved those problems, got a veteran, handled the business. I feel great about the punter, hey, seems fine. And when it comes to the kicker, I have issues with drafting the kicker in the fourth round, sure, like a lot of people do. But if Andrew Berry and company are confident that this man can handle the pressure, so confident that they would spend a fourth round pick on that, then I'm just going to have to trust that they know more about that man's ability to handle pressure than I do because I've never met him. So I'm hoping to trust their evaluation that he can withstand the pressure of that cooker that is the NFL and being a kicker in the NFL. If he can, good on them. They just solved their entire special teams problem in one swift offseason, barely by lifting a finger or spending any money. Good on them. If it's not, you spend a fourth round pick on a kicker and it didn't work out. And that would make the Browns a team that spent a fourth, a fifth, and a seventh round pick on three kickers that didn't work out. And at that point, you get tired of talking about kickers, right? This is why I'm at this point. But I'm just hoping this works out. But that's my thoughts on the special teams, on the kickers. This will be the one time I address this unless there is an emergency. Y'all have a great day. Y'all have a good night.